So I figured I would do a quick live session to speak through, you know, sort of some of the changes that have occurred over time that may or may not have been seen or recognized, but specifically in the area of instant gratification, right? Instant gratification has taken hold of really everyone in the society, right? It was said many years ago in American history that you can only make a change over 100 years, because if you do it any faster than that, the people will notice it and they will revolt, and your change will not be effective. So, in order to diminish that, what has happened is the attention span has been dramatically diminished over time and very quickly. And there's a lot of things that contribute to this, right? Humans' desire and need to have things more convenient and more quickly has driven this in a very large way. This is consistent across every area, right? Where we used to have dial up internet, it wasn't fast enough. We needed high speed, right? Everything has to be faster, faster, faster. And this is what drives humanity, really, to the trash, is this need for increased speed. But its application is far more insidious than people actually realize. So consider, if you will, this analogy, and it's a really good one. But and my hope is that it catches and it's clear. But consider, if you will, fast food, right? We want to be able to go to a drive-through and get a delicious meal in minutes, right? And perhaps that is satisfied, right, for the masses of people. But having been a former chef, I can tell you that the time spent in preparation relative to your food is manifest in the quality of the meal. If you rush through the meal, then the end product will be reflective of that rush. But if you take your time, if you build your meal, right, each and every single ingredient, and you perform your prep work, and you have planned out entirely the culmination of these efforts, that meal will generally be so much better than would be that fast food meal. And so this analogy applies across the board. It applies across the board. The super speed with which everything needs to be delivered to us diminishes the quality overall of whatever it is that we are dealing with. Okay. And so I'm going to speak to a couple of different things that have happened, right? Specifically, I know everybody knows MK Ultra, right? But very few people are aware of another project that was called NK Naomi, right? Naomi. And Naomi stood for Negroes are only momentary individuals. Negroes are only momentary individuals. So, what has happened is, with the diminishing attention span, right? The majority of the people today can't possibly sit down and watch a 3 hour documentary. They can't do it. They're used to videos that are very quick. They're used to music that comes into the ethos and is gone very quick, right? Everything is fast, fast, fast. And so what it does is it eliminates the possibility of someone producing a multi-phase, multi-step plan with the conclusion that they have dictated at the onset, right? So everything is surface. It's a single statement, it's a bumper sticker belief system, and that is enough, right? It's a very surface existence, momentary individuals, right? And so the there is a correlation to our attention span and the degree of progress that we as a people are able to make. Because you can't produce a multi-phase, multifaceted plan that incorporates more than simply just this next 10 minutes, more than just this next day, week, month, year, a plan that is inclusive of beyond your lifetime. No one is able to build that type of a plan. But let me tell you how very insidious this diminished attention span and our need for instant gratification has manifest. One of the most insidious ways in which this is manifest is in our relationships and the way that we view each other. See, today, unfortunately, and generally, what we are doing is men and women are looking at each other from a very surface perspective. It's instant gratification. She's sexy. I like her ass. I like her boobs. That is what I want. That is what I'm focused on, that instant gratification. And we're feeding that, right? We're feeding that such that we lose the true value and the true promise of our relationships because we are satisfied with the instant gratification. A couple of grunts, it's done, and now the relationship has taken a turn, right? It is because, again, instant gratification has caused us to be so very surface that even our relationships are reflective of this disposition. What we're doing is we're only looking at the surface and we're eliminating everything else. We are overlooking everything else. But I've got to tell you something. When you cook your meal, take your time. Perform your prep work. Take your time and build on it. Envision it. Have a clear direction in relation to what this meal will be, all of the things that will accompany your primary element, and build it over time. The more time you take, the better. When I do a jerk chicken, my seasonings first will sit for a week, right? I'll put all of my seasonings together and I'll let that sit by itself in the refrigerator for a week. And then once it's sat for a week, I'll then take my chicken and I'll put it into this jerk seasoning and I'll let that sit for 3 days, right? Now, in that 3 days, what I've done is I've soaked my wood, my pimento wood, my pimento leaves, my pimento berries, and I've soaked those for 2 days in a mixture of apple cider vinegar and some other things, right? Some sea salt and like this. And so when I finally go to cook, the amount of prep time that has taken place in order to produce this meal is over the course of either a week or two, right? In order to produce one meal. This is the kind of preparation and the planning that is required to make the absolute best possible jerk chicken, okay? I say that to say, in your relationships, if the only thing that is attracting a man to you is your ass, everybody got one. He's going to fall out of love with your ass or find a better looking ass or one that is more, right? If the only thing that is keeping this man is your physical attributes, then the honeymoon will be over after you give up the after you give up the crop. I suggest the relationship is a lot more whole and a lot more healthy if you do it just the same way I just spoke to that jerk chicken. You let it build. You get to know who this person is. You get to know what they dream, what they fear, what they like. All of these things will produce a degree of union and commonality and familiarity, comfortability. And at that point, what you're able to do is produce a very healthy relationship, okay? But if we're focused on instant gratification, fast food, so you're going into relationships like it was a McDonald's drive-through, right? And what happens is men and women end up being driven through, right? And unsatisfied in every exchange. This is because of the instant gratification. You're not allowing it to build. And furthermore, you're cheating yourself because you'll go from that drive through or driven through man or woman, and you'll come out of that relationship and say, man, you know what? I wasn't satisfying. That wasn't what I want. And I'm on to the next. I'm looking for the next one, right? And in each engagement, you're going to replicate and you're going to do the same thing. I'm on to the next. I'm looking for the next. But in none of them will you have taken the time to allow it to build, to allow for the organic expression that is found in commonality, familiarity, comfortability, right? Safety. If you don't let these things build, then it will be impossible for you to enjoy them on the other side, right? So I'm suggesting to you that the attention span of the population has been intentionally whittled down to almost nil, right? They use the acronym TLDR, right? Too long, didn't read. Well, this is a shame, right? This is a shame because if you consider and listen to what you hear in the ethos, what you hear is short attention span theory. You hear people that watched a video, heard a tagline, and they ran off, and it's built their entire ideology and philosophy over something that they heard somebody said, but they never for themselves actually looked, actually read, actually put it through the paces that says, is this true? What are the conflicting pieces of information that might tell me that this isn't true, right? What are the corroborating pieces that tell me that this is true? This degree of analysis and scrutiny hasn't happened. All that happened was they heard a podcast, somebody said something cute, and they followed up and they repeated it over and over and over again. And if you look throughout the society, this is primarily what you are seeing in the entire population. Everybody is operating under this. Repeated taglines without any critical analysis, without any thought, without any research, without any interrogation into what is being said. I'm suggesting to you that hyper speed is taking your life away. And while it is taking your life, it is keeping you from actually enjoying the fullness of your life, right? So I'm going to ask you to recognize that this is happening, recognize that it has happened, right? And slow down. Slow down. Slow down in the need for your food, right? Slow down in the development of your relationships. If you can't build a birdhouse, don't try to build a life together. It ain't gonna work. If you can't build a birdhouse, don't build a baby because it's not gonna work, right? You need to slow down and enjoy each gradient step associated with growth. I hear the majority of the people repeat this phrase, it's chess, not checkers. Meanwhile, they haven't the foggiest idea how to play a single game of chess. Chess requires meticulous planning. It requires one reference what they have seen in the past. When I did this, this is what happened. You must reference what you know about the individual that you are playing, right? There are so many factors to a chess game, but one of the most important factors is the ability to plan out 7 steps ahead, right? To be able to consider, if I do this, this is the likely result, right? Factoring all potentialities. This is the likely result that this person will do. And then when they do that, I will do this. When I do this, they will respond this way. It is to meticulously consider the steps into the future vet them, and ensure that they're going to bring you to the appropriate conclusion. This is how chess is played. This is why chess is so very relevant, because it requires so much more than simply moving a piece, right? So you hear people say this is chess, not checkers, and they don't know how to play chess, right? Again, it's this instant gratification. It is this quick language. It is this diminished attention span that is producing this scenario. What I'm asking you to do, walk slowly, breathe, smell the flowers, enjoy what is within your circumference right this moment. Don't take for granted anything. Look up, look down, look in 360 degrees, the XY axis. Notice everything. It's there for you. It's a gift for you. Look at it. Notice it. Recognize, I saw the other day. I saw the other day because I practice this. I'm not going to take a step because in every step that I take, there is 360 degrees of stimulus that is there for me. So I don't take a step without paying attention to absolutely everything. So the other day, I'm walking and I see a spider web with a fly that is caught in the web. Now, what has happened is, based on the position of the sun, it has cast a shadow of this event. So not only can I see the spider in the spider web, but I can see the shadow of the spider and the spider web. And the shadow is actually more detailed than my human eye can detect in that spider web. So I can see the gradient strands of this web where I couldn't see it before. And I'm watching this struggle as the spider is frantically trying to get out of this web. I am seeing it in a way that I was never able to see it before because of the way that that shadow was being cast. And I'm watching this spider fighting for his life. I'm watching him hit at that web and trying to free his hands and his, well, hands and feet, trying to free himself from this web. I'm watching this happen in a way that I've never seen before. And then to my surprise, the fly did it. The fly got out of the web. I had no expectation that that was going to happen, but that's what he did. He made it out of the web. I relay this, I share this with you to suggest that if you move too quickly, if you pay no attention, you're going to miss the true promise and the true value that life has presented you. If you only look at a woman, and there's no blame here. What I'm saying is something that has happened to all of us. It's in us. It has produced us, right? This short attention span theater, it's produced us. So if the woman is only presenting her ass and her breasts as her most valued assets, well, what's going to happen? The man is going to focus on her ass and her breasts as her most valued assets. But what happens when he loses his attention in her ass and her breasts? He's going to find somebody else that has ass and breasts, and everybody got them, right? So I'm suggesting there's so much more to you. There's so much more to me. There's so much more to life than what is on the surface. Take the time. Take the time to build your jerk chicken. You hear me? Take the time to build your recipe. Take the time to build your relationships. Walk slow. Breathe deep. Do you hear me? Notice everything. See everything. Extract it. You recognize that the ocular nerve is only seeing a fraction of the colors that are actually available. You could see more. You could see more, but you're moving so fast. Do you realize that the auditory organ is only capturing a subset of the data that is actually there? You could access it. It's available to you. Do you understand that you have power beyond your understanding. It is beyond you. You don't know it because you haven't exercised it. You have not practiced it. So you don't know that you've got great powers. And again, the instant gratification, the diminished attention span would obscure that. It might as well not exist. Your magic might as well not exist because you're moving too quickly to detect or use it. So again, I'm not going to turn this into a lecture. What I am suggesting to you is that your relationships, your life, your meals, your physiology, absolutely every element of this physical reality will be made better if you take your time, if you slowly allow it to mature, slowly and organically allow it to build. It does not have to be fast in order to be good. In fact, in order for it to be fast, we have to sacrifice good. Back to the Happy Meal at the McDonald's drive-in window. In order for it to be fast, you must sacrifice good. It can be fast or good. It can't be good and fast. You see? So what I'm suggesting is treat yourself better. You deserve good. You deserve great. You deserve the best. So take your time. Let it build in your relationships, in your life, in your existence, in your day. Who the hell is pushing you forward so fast? You don't need to go fast. You need to go at your own pace, your own organic pace. And in that pace, give yourself enough time to take in everything and feel everything. And I promise you, you will have a higher quality of life. Okay? That's it. That's all. Right? Peace be upon you.